If you use a Fujifilm camera, it's likely that you do for one of two reasons. First of all, you like the retro look of all Fujifilm cameras. Not this one, but the X-T5, the X-T4, the X-T30, the X-T50, the X100, the X-E4 line. They all have the shutter speed, ISO dials on top, and they have the retro look, which kind of reminds you of cameras going back to the 90s. And if you like that kind of look, if you like that kind of feel in your hand with a retro style camera, and if it inspires you to get out and take photos and videos, then that's the reason why you probably use a Fujifilm camera. The other reason why you'd use a Fujifilm camera is because you like the film simulations and the color profiles that are built into the camera. In the newest cameras like the X-H2, Fujifilm have packed it with 20 film simulations that provide a look and feel to the pre-digital era, going back to the 90s and the 80s and so on and so forth. And the colors coming out of Fujifilm cameras truly are fantastic. I have used Nikon DSLR cameras, Canon mirrorless cameras, and the colors coming out of the Fujifilm cameras there's just no comparison. Fujifilm absolutely nail their color science, and it really looks amazing. And it's one of the reasons why I own Fujifilm cameras, because I love the way my images and videos look. If you are on Canon and you are on Sony, you're probably thinking, I want a bit of that Fuji loving, but you don't want to maybe sell off all of your full frame gear, or you can't compromise on the lenses that you might own, or you might be heavily invested from a financial point of view, and selling up and moving to another system is hard and it's expensive and it's not for everybody. So how can you get that same look and feel, or a similar look and feel, from your photos and videos that you could probably get from Fujifilm, right? If you are on Canon or Sony or Nikon and you do want to have some of that color science, then you can look at Dehancer. Dehancer is a plugin that you can load into Final Cut Pro and Premiere Pro and Lightroom and Capture One, and it allows you to overlay a film emulation over your footage or your photos to give it that look from when people were using film stock back in the 90s and the 80s. Now, I have to be honest and I have to tell you that I've never shot on film before, ever. I don't know anything about the process of developing. I don't know anything about how you would expose for film. I don't know anything about the kind of cameras that are available at the time and why you would use certain film and why you wouldn't use certain film at a certain time of the day maybe. Like when I started doing photography, we were well and truly into the digital era at that point. But obviously, as you know, recently there has been a massive upsurgence in film. People love film. The whole idea of like emulating film has kind of come back, and the prices of film have just gone through the roof. And a lot of people out there still use film for photography, but a lot of people are also saying that it's really, really expensive now. So Dehancer, I feel like, is a way of getting that look and feel out of your photos and videos, good enough for you to post on social media or even do some client work with. And it's really quite straightforward to install and use, and it allows you to overlay from so many different film stocks that they've got loaded in. There's so many different color profiles in there. I'd have to go through and count how many there are. And it's really fun to use and it's really straightforward. So Dehancer actually reached out to me and said if I would like to review their software, and I agreed. I'm super excited actually about that because my channel is in its infancy and I didn't actually expect anybody to reach out and ask me to review a product. They watched one of my videos and they really liked it, and I'm super excited about it. So here I am shooting a video about Dehancer. Now, I wanted to make this a little bit more than just a talking head video, so I decided to reach out to a fellow YouTuber and also head off into London and shoot some footage with my Fujifilm X-H2S in some iconic places in London. And I wanted to bring that footage back into Final Cut and use Dehancer and see what I can get out of it. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to simply take you to London with me. So enjoy. Oh, and I forgot to mention that if you use the promo code in the comment section below, you can actually get 10% off Dehancer for the desktop, and I get a 10% commission as well. And that's a disclaimer that I wanted to share with you guys, that I have joined the Dehancer affiliate program, and it does mean that they will be paying me every single time one of you guys decide to buy any of their desktop software. So, but they did also ask me to keep my review really honest so that they can improve their software regularly, and it means that you guys get the best deal possible as well. So promo code is in the description below. If you decide that you want to go ahead and purchase Dehancer for Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro, or for any of the photography editing softwares out there like Lightroom or Capture One, then you can enjoy a 10% discount. So I just arrived into London, parked up in Edgware, got myself a Cafe Nero coffee, and I'm heading to the tube station. First stop is going to be Camden Market.
Please mind the doors.
Ready to sail into the wind, heading west to find my reason, longing for something greater than this, and I'm right with anticipation. Yeah, I have a good feeling, staring at the starry ceiling.
Camden Market is a very, very busy place. I've been here a few times before, but every time I come, I always love it. It's a great place, a lot of culture, a lot of diversity. All the food that you could possibly want to eat is here.
My suitcase is packed and I'm waiting. I'm on the move.
Just arrived in Borough Market in Waterloo, come from Camden Market, absolutely started chucking it down, so that's why my hair's all wet and everything. But luckily I met up with a good buddy of mine, Haris, so I'm just going to show Haris in there you go. So we're in Borough Market at the moment. Hello. I'm going to be using my X-H2S, and Haris is going to be using your, what are you going to use, bro?
Maybe like a Q for some photos and maybe FX3 for some videos.
Okay,
Yeah.
wicked. So we're just going to capture loads of footage here, and we're just going to plug it back into Final Cut Pro and just show you what it looks like on Dehancer. Wicked. hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. It was great to go out to London and shoot with my camera. It was a reason to go out there. Otherwise, I probably would have just sat at home and watched TV or something like that. It was great to meet Haris, and it was just great to kind of collaborate with somebody else and film together. It's really cool and awesome, and I just love how you can buzz off each other and be inspired by one another. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience. So I wanted to bring you into Final Cut Pro just so that I can show you how I used the Dehancer plugin to create that effect on that short film that you just watched. So the good thing about Dehancer is that you can keep it as simple as you like, or you can really go all out and tweak so many different variables to create the look that you want. Now, for someone like me who has no experience in developing film, a lot of the headings in Dehancer were kind of a little bit complicated, and I feel like I don't have the expertise to use them all. So for me, I just use the visual feedback to decide what I wanted to do. So if I like the look of something, I said, yep, I'll keep that. Or if I didn't like the look of something, I unticked it and I didn't use that. If you have experience from developing film, or if you're like worked in a film lab back in the 90s and you know all of these headings, then you can really go in and change and tweak whatever you want on this. But I kept it nice and simple, and I just wanted to show you what I did. So I'm going to start a screen record now. Okay, so first of all, if you select a clip, so this one here is just me having a little bite to eat before I came back home from London that day. I used an adjustment layer. And if you don't know what an adjustment layer is, an adjustment layer just allows you to grade entire kind of clips all in one go, rather than going into each clip individually and grading them. So here's a little adjustment layer, and once you've installed Dehancer, you go into your effects panel and you go down to film emulation, and there's a plugin there, and you pick that up and you drop it onto your adjustment layer or your single clip, depending on how you are grading, and you get this tab come open at the top. So this is Dehancer Pro version 7, and the first tab simply allows you to choose your camera. So I click choose my camera. I went to Apple because this clip was filmed on my iPhone 15 Pro. iPhone and Apple log pops up, and I think what that does is just creates a Rec 709 LUT on top of your footage, and then you can go down to film and you can choose the film that you want. Now you can choose loads of these, and honestly I have very little experience with any of these. So like I said, I just went in and chose the one that I thought looked good to my eyes. So I went with Kodak Vision 3 250D. If you are a colorist or you are older than me and you know how to develop, you would probably be familiar with Kodak Vision 3 250D. I'm not, but to me it looked good, so I'm using it. You can push and pull this to kind of, and I think that's just how much of the film look you want on your footage. So I'm going to leave it about here. You can then go into Film Developer. Film Developer allows you to create your own developer recipe. Now, I didn't use this at all. I didn't feel like I needed to, so I left it where it was. I don't have the expertise really to create my own developer recipe, but you can go in and change film compression, and film compression allows you to redistribute the highlights to midtones, which is sometimes what I do when I'm playing with footage and color grading it. I like to lower my highlights but increase my midtones so that maybe the background is not as bright but my face is exposed nicely. But I didn't need to touch that either. Expand just allows you to play with your black point and your white point. Print is, I read about print on the Dehancer website, and I think it went over my head a little bit, but from what I read, and I'm happy to read your comments on this. I think print is about how your movie looks depending on the type of film that you print on. If I'm wrong, then please don't shoot me, because like I said, I'm not an expert in this. Color head, I think that's to do with choosing the different types of blue, green and red and the colors that I used to develop the film, but once again, I'm not 100%, so I left it on, you know, I didn't touch that. I left that. Now, film grain is something that I think a lot of people know about now because it's talked about so much. And film grain is how noise looked on film. Okay, so if you look at digital noise, it looks really quite ugly and it's not nice. But film grain, actually, a lot of people use that to make their footage look nostalgic, you know, and that's the whole point of Dehancer. So you can choose the types of film that you had, whether you had 8mm, 16mm, and 35 or 65, and I think that's to do with the physical size of the film. And then the different ISO values that would have been associated to that particular film. So from what I know, on a film camera, you can't just change the ISO like we can on a digital camera. The film that you buy has the ISO value kind of set in that. So if you know that you're shooting in low light environments, you would buy film with ISO 500 maybe. Or if you know that you're shooting on a bright day, you might only have ISO 50 film. So you have to know which film you have to buy to expose your footage correctly. So I think that kind of affects how grain shows up on your film. So you can choose the look, and I just chose 35mm ISO 250 because I thought it was just a nice balance. And I like the look of the film, the grain on this. I think it looks nice. Not over the top and not too subtle, just enough to kind of show that there is grain here. Bloom is to do with the dispersion of bright light on different contrasting edges, I think, and we use Cine Bloom filters on our lenses to kind of create that glowy look to all the highlights. So I think people know what bloom is. Halation is, I don't know if you've ever seen, but when a film goes bad or when it's exposed to too much light, you get red and orange. And I remember seeing some of my photos come back from the developers, and there was like red and orange streaks across the photo, and I think that's because there was too much light coming in, and it looks really cool, but I didn't actually use any of that on mine because I felt like I just didn't want to. Film damage, film breathe, gate weave, overscan, I kind of ignored all of these and I left them all untouched. So for me, it was simply choosing what I filmed on. So we had an FX3, we had an X-H2S, and for all those clips, I used obviously the profile for those cameras. And then I just chose Kodak Vision 3 250D, and that was enough for me. I feel like that gave the look that I remember seeing when I was a kid. And to me, that's what all this is about, you know, kind of having that nostalgic feel. So shout out to Dehancer for making it easy for me to create this look, and also giving all the tools for someone who's a real professional to tweak every little bit of, you know, variable that they can in their film. So I hope that you enjoyed this. This is an honest review from my part. I think there's an app for iOS and Android. So I'm just going to start a screen recording and I'm going to load up Dehancer. So you can load up Dehancer, and here's a photo, and then there you go, you got Kodak Vision 3 250D, 500T, and so on and so forth, and you can see what that looks like on here. Now you can use this for video as well. I used it for video, and it's really quite cool. It's not as featured as the desktop app, but it's a really awesome app to have. So you can quickly change the look and feel, and you can just post on social media with that. So it's a nice little app. One I think I will use for any footage that I film on my iPhone. Remember, this is got log in it. iPhone 15 Pro has Apple log, so it automatically kind of adds a lot to it, and then you can go in and just apply any of these profiles that you like. So if you use the promo code in the description below, you get a 10% discount on any of the desktop apps. It doesn't include the iOS app. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It did take quite a lot of time to go out there and make the film with a friend. Shout out to Haris. Thank you so much for coming on board and helping me capture some footage. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed everything that I've done here. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Thanks.